I speak, you hear nothing, or, let us say, nothing particularly akin to what I had intended. How could you really? Does one inspect the tennis ball while volleying? I toss it only to the perimeter of you, where it bounces against and then off your flesh. Or, if you prefer, it simply disappears within you like a marble falling down a well. It's a negotiation in which we walk gingerly past one another on a tightrope, while constantly looking down. I am a well as well, dear, and on the walls of this well, there are pairs of half-blind eyes and half-deaf ears peering and poking out everywhere, which drink in the sensations of your words and of your expressions, which are then handed off to my imagination, where they become very different things. And with you, it is surely very much the same. It's the nature of the game, the steps of the only dances we are permitted to dance with one another. When we converse, the two of us crouch in the basements of ourselves as a matter of course, quite unaware that we are doing so. To play a reasonable game of tennis requires the most constant vigilance, does it not? We play out of curiosity, out of loneliness, and out of love. Yet what I know of you is only a sketch, a poorly rendered sketch, of which I am nonetheless so very fond, for it is the sort of sketch which enables me to create a depiction of you in my imagination of which I am many times more fond. What you are, what you really are, in and of yourself, doesn't concern me, not because I am some sort of monster, but rather because it cannot concern me. It is not a thing I can know, to which I can ever have access. I can only be concerned with the canvases I later paint of you in my studio, which belong to me, as you are, doubtless, with yours. If I need something quickly drawn, that is to say, if my imagination is, for the moment, dormant, I might ring you, ask to see you, because I so delight in you, that is to say, I delight in what my idealization of you evokes in me. I have spent innumerable hours after our encounters fleshing you out upon canvases in my studio in ways that please, stimulate, and arouse me. We need, however, far stronger liqueurs than are afforded us by mere conversation. And where are we to find them? All I can know of you, when in your presence, is my poorly and rapidly drawn, constantly evolving sketch, which I then carry home when we part, that is to say, firmly grab hold of it, all the while taking great care to preserve its contours, in order that I might eventually set it down within the dwelling place in which my deepest self resides. I carry it to a sort of internal artist's studio, there to slop upon it whatever paints please me, and, in whatever context or landscape I wish to place you. What you are, in and of yourself, doesn't concern me, because it cannot concern me, as I have said, and it is not otherwise with you, with your sketches and canvases. It is simply not possible for us to know one another in any real way, my dear beloved friend. I am ultimately only concerned with, and fond of, only the canvases in my studio, as you are with those in yours. If I need something quickly drawn, that is to say, if my imagination is hungry, and is, for the time being, dormant, I'll likely ring you, eager for an interaction, which might provide me with material, with some up-to-date drafts I can then cultivate and develop at my leisure. And because I like you so very much, rather, because I like what my idealization of you evokes in me, it is likely to be quite the afternoon. I'll then be spending in my studio, fleshing you out, as they say, in ways that please me, stir me up, even arouse me. Yes, yes, you are indeed playing a part, in a little play for which you've never auditioned, as I am, just as surely, in one of your little potboilers. It's the best any of us can do. It is the nature of the game. Conversation achieves nothing, because it can achieve nothing. For what is called friendship is, ultimately and necessarily, a lie. We are only ourselves when we are alone. We all know that perfectly well. To attend a party is to play pickleball with baboons. And we know that going in. We gather in pairs, in groups, just as Schopenhauer said we do, like porcupines, warming ourselves as best we can with one another's heat, while simultaneously bearing the paints, brushes, and canvases upon which we will later soothe, entertain, inspire, and nourish ourselves, and, insofar as we are able, of which we shall then later dream. But all this only insofar as we've been provided with anything sufficiently substantive to evoke these pleasant sensations within us in the first place. As you do indeed provide me, my dear friend, so constantly and reliably. Now, as for our talk earlier today, why did you say precisely? Well, you know what it was, surely you do. How many calculations had you made before you uttered it? Did you adjust your words, worry whether or not they would be too honest, or if, having said them, I would continue to be just as fond of you, or horror if it might be something that would, perhaps, be lethal to the friendship? Were you not constantly ushering away the real you, escorting her down the stairs leading to the basement of your very self, where, were she to speak her mind, she'd be far less likely to be heard? And of course, I was doing the very same thing, all the while. When we converse, the two of us, my cherished friend, we are treading water, taking care to keep our heads, and most importantly, our mouths free of the pool's ingredients, composed as they are of all those facets of our deepest selves which, by virtue of our having been forced to its surface, are, for the most part, unavailable to us. Each of our pools is bottomless, as is each of ourselves, and each of us can only taste of their utmost depths when alone. In the course of any conversation we might have had, or will have, we are forced to deny ourselves access to those deepest parts of ourselves. We only delude ourselves when we think otherwise. And yet, here we are. I would not trade our talks for any path which does not lead to you. You look away when you speak, but quickly raise your eyes to look at me when I speak, and I do very much the same. Why? I am not entirely sure, but it seems to me likely that doing so provides us with the opportunity to dive within ourselves for at least a moment, insofar as the circumstances of the conversation, our mutual comfort, and our individual bravery and persistence allow, in an attempt to be more honest with one another. For you and I have conversations far deeper and more honest than most, which is precisely why they are so infinitely precious to me. Yet, in those moments when we each look away, in the attempt to access deeper parts of ourselves, that is very far from the only thing that we are doing. We are also anxiously asking ourselves how what we are considering saying next might land, if it would, perhaps, be potentially dangerous or poisonous to the friendship, whether we should refashion it or, conceivably, omit it entirely. We are continuously calculating, and it is exhausting. Is it not, my beloved friend? Are you not exhausted by it as well? Of course you are. We both are. Thus, at the very same time, we are attempting to be more present and honest. We are busy doing its very opposite. Let us go then, you and I, my sweet friend, for I am so very fond of you. Though do let us also admit to ourselves that, in so doing, in our going together, we are, at the same time, both of us patients etherized upon a table, that is to say, necessarily prohibited from being and accessing our deepest selves, though through no fault of our own, we are in fact doing far better than most. It's simply the nature of such interactions. They necessarily keep us on our surface. Whenever it is I speak to you, listen to you, or craft what it is I might next say to you, The well of my deepest self is not accessible to me, certainly not in anywhere near its entirety. It becomes opaque, and if and when I do manage to dredge up something from its depths, I never share it with you without first considering its appropriateness, the possibility of its being ill-timed, ill-suited, even perilous, whether uttering it will promote or impede our friendship, if there's some chance it might hurt you, if it were better either reshaped or simply left unsaid. Were we to come together, my dear, truly come together, not as in the vulgar contraction of pelvic muscles and seminal vesicles, rather, were we to fuse the richness each of us possesses in the very depths of our being, the hoards and riches in the depths of the well that is ourselves, which we are so very careful to squirrel away, and to which we do not have easy or voluntary access, would we not then be undone? Would we not go quite mad? Were those parts of ourselves to be understood and embraced, each by the other? Were a few, or perhaps more than a few, bits of what is most profound and intense within ourselves somehow able to merge? That is a foolish and pointless speculation, nothing other than the purest claptrap. Such things are simply not possible. So let us go on then, you and I, my beloved friend, let us go on then treading water as best we can. For what I am able to grasp of you, the sketches, poor as they are, those that I am able to fashion of you, make my soul blossom. They, and you, enable me to experience what is best within myself. If friendship is a lie, if our friendship is a lie, it is a beautiful lie, and one to which I shall cling until the last light fades. If, when we converse, we give and take from one another nothing worth acquiring, why do we so seek it? And why do I seek it so deeply and profoundly with you, above so many others? Because your presence enchants, captivates, and inflames me. When my eyes light upon you, it is like a sudden, brilliant strike of lightning, which leaves me breathless and amazed, as if I were some hibernating beast awakening to spring. I am happy to excuse the faults I see and hear in you. They are nothing to me, for they are outnumbered in countless ways by what is wonderful and divine in you. Yes, I can be sated even by you, by our meetings, at times even easily or quickly sated, but without you, without them, my beloved friend, I would surely wither and die. Let us go then, you and I,